But the idea over here is that you can take advantage, for example, some tips and tricks. Okay, the first tip I have for you is always to use your topography surface as a start point, because the topography surface is naturally and already formatted to fit the formatting requirements from MiningMath. Okay, so all you need to do over here is to play with the z coordinates. The x and y will not change because they must remain aligned with the block centroids. Okay, so the idea is that you can, whenever you want to work with surface constraints, you can take advantage of the topography file to manipulate the z coordinate and then have your final surface constraint. Okay, this is the first guidance I have for you, but I understand that when dealing with other software, you might need, for example, let me put over here 11 topography tips and tricks topography. Okay, so this is something that is valuable for you. Another thing is the fact that, well, maybe you will be for example, manipulating such surfaces on a MinDesign platform, okay, with CAD tools and where you can draw polylines, polygons, etc. to say, well, these area I want to restrict, this area I want to force, etc. On Excel, you will be able to play with more rectangular shapes. For example, one way to do so is to select X and Y. For example, I will press F11 to create a chart. I will change the chart type to scatter and select the, sorry, I didn't select all the points. I need to select these columns over here. Okay, now I changed the chart type, select scatter, and then I selected the second option. Okay, so I have a top view from my deposit and from my surface, and all these points are aligned with the block centroids as well. So the idea over here is that I can now play with filters and say, well, I want to constrain something from 0 to 200, for example, in the x-axis. So what I need to do is to create a filter. For example, I will select less than 200, and as you can see, I have something like this. The chart is weird over here because it's not fully showing all the parameters. That's 1815. Let's increase these 1815. Okay, so this was the section I made. Okay, so this was the selection I made by doing this filter. Let's say I want to work with these. I want this region to be constrained, to become a restricted mining. I don't have the mining rights from this region. So what I need to do, well, here I'm selecting just this area. I will make the opposite. I will select the other area, greater than 200 or equal to 200. And then I'm selecting the other area over here, right? Now I want to project all these points over here to the base of my model. So I will set up a 0 value over here. So now all these values over here are at the base of my model. The previous ones were in my topography elevation. Okay, so that's the idea. Now I will remove this filter. I will save it as, for example, a surface constraint. Let's say I have my Morvin strategy optimization. I have my restrict mining. Let's say it's 1. Okay. I simply saved this view over here. So now I'm going to close it. Don't save. and I will load it into SGEMs. Okay, so I have the restrict mining 1, which is this file over here. Point, I will set up the same name. Now I will hide this surface. I will use this one. So now I have the surface I wanted, like that. So here I have my mining rights. They are at the topography of my model. Below that region, looking from a side view, I will not be able to mine anything over here. Will not be able. Okay, and here I will be able to mine as much as needed to maximize value. Okay, so this is a way you can build surface constraints using Excel, Microsoft Excel, especially considering these rectangular shapes over here. However, my suggestion is always to start with the topography file.